sure. So this is George Morehead. His nickname was Pappy because he was 4 years older than the other guys who were in his OC class with him. And he was my father's best buddy out of OC class, and then on to Guadalcanal and Tarawa. And my mother adored Pappy because of his southern accent. He was from Clinton, Mississippi. And in her eyes, he could have been Ashley Wilkes. But Pappy died on Tarawa, and his body was buried at sea. And in all of Mom's letters to Dad, she always asks about Pappy, and Pappy's always sending his regards to Roxy through Frank. And at the end of December, it had been a month where Frank hadn't told Roxy that Pappy had died, and he finally broke it to her as a P.S. in a letter that said, "Very often you inquire about Pappy. Well, Roxy, I won't be seeing Pappy anymore." In my travels around the United States, I've always made a habit of visiting the graves of the men from the platoon, but I've never had the opportunity to come to Hawaii to visit the men that are buried at the Punch Bowl. So one of the little traditions that I've started when I visited a grave, someone did this for my mother's funeral, is they brought a little sprig of rosemary for remembrance. So I always leave a little sprig of rosemary for the guys. The other thing that I do is leave them a shot of Four Roses. Once again, this isn't a commercial for Four Roses, but this was the brand of choice for Marines in the Pacific. So knowing that they've been lying there for 70 some odd years, they've got to be thirsty. So I give them a little Four Roses. A tradition that Alma Smots, 40 Thief Bob Smots' widow, who is still with us today, she brought to my attention, is the significance of leaving a penny on the grave. So that is something new that I've begun to do just because of Alma Jean. And lastly, because we're in Hawaii, there's the tradition of the lei. And to put a face to the name of the fellows here, I made a little placard for each grave with a picture. This is a picture of Don. I cut out of it his buddy Joe Kyle. On the back of it, it says, "If it looks like I have a stupid grin, it's because we're plastered."